$100
by he is an actor.
Yeah.
He's an actor. He's been given a script, okay, by the government. Here's what you say. We want to turn this. Look, if you believe, as I do, that this is all coming from a high place, that Sam is a useful idiot, that Caroline is a useful idiot, then what you want to do now is you want to turn the narrative. This is China. This is the PBOC. This is bad guys. We're the good guys. We are the victims. And this guy either is going to walk because it was China, or he's going to disappear. I still think he's going to disappear. Calvin O'Leary, a liar.
Right.
I love that part.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
It's just Calvin.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, part of the challenge, right? I think always, I'm always amazed at people who do interviews in their non-native tongue, right? I mean, there's obviously some language. I mean, his English is amazing, and I'm not criticizing it. I'm just saying that there's always a gap when you're talking to someone. You know, like I don't go on TV ever and do interviews in Spanish or French because I don't speak those. So my English isn't very good. So I think there's part of that. Part of it too is, the issue for me in Binance isn't necessarily the functionality. I'm struggling for the right word here in my English. It's not the methodology is the word I'm thinking of the reserves, which I think you're right. It's lacking. I think for me, the issue is how closely does BNB represent or associate to FTT? As I understand it, and I hope to be proven wrong, but as I understand it, they're kind of the same. They're utility tokens that don't actually give you a share of equity, debt, or a claim on cash flows. And if that's true, okay, then you have the risk, just like with Cell, just like VGX, just like with FTT, that if you use that asset as collateral, it's just a Ponzi. I mean, that literally, because there's nothing behind a trading coin, a meme coin, which is essentially what it is. If there's no, claim on cash flows or ownership, it's not a real asset. And so my question is the question is how much of the BNB is used in the balance sheet of Binance in the same way that FTT was used in FTX, because that's ultimately what led to the downfall. That's important. But does it share in the transaction fees of Binance Smart Chain or no?
I'm not actually.
That's the part I don't know. And I should know that, but I don't. And because if it had a claim on cash flows, then I would feel better. But let's just assume for now that it doesn't. And if it doesn't, and it's simply a trading token like Ethereum, I'm fine with that. Yeah. But if he's used it to secure loans the way FTT, I mean, the problem for BlockFi, for example, is not that they did all these things. I mean, a couple things. So Ben Hunt, who you had on the show, is wrong, right? He's referring to the FTX bankruptcy filings, which why the world thinks those are accurate, I don't understand. And FTX claimed that these were unsecured loans. Of course they claim that. They don't want to admit that they were not unsecured loans. They were secured loans. And I can validate that as a factual statement. So the assertion that they're unsecured loans is wrong. The second thing is, when they made the loan, it was actually a small percentage of their total assets. Right? They had $20 billion in assets at the time. And so a $700 million loan isn't that big deal. Now, when assets fell because of the crash and of withdrawals, then it becomes a big deal. The real issue was the collateral. All the collateral up until that particular loan had been either stable coins or Bitcoin. And the question is, and I actually have, this is not public information, so I don't have any insight here, is whether there was originally Bitcoin or stablecoin, and that post the merger, Sam or somebody at FTX changed. I just don't know the answer to that. But at the end, on the date of the bankruptcy, it was FTT, which has no value. And that's the problem. And that's what I'm concerned, because I don't worry about BUSD, right? That seems to be pretty well backed. I don't worry about the structure of Binance, because it's proven over and over and over again to be a pretty good, darn good exchange. What I do worry about is if BNB is being levered and used as collateral. Visionary tactic. And so your point here, spot on, right? You could absolutely interpret that deflect and redirect, right? Mm-hmm. Which is, Mashinsky, tell me why you're not a fraud. Well, they're liars. Okay, that was clearly a deflect and redirect. And hey, look at them, don't look at me. And he turned out he was the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
He was the one with the cell token Ponzi.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a red flag. That's why it's a red flag. Here's the difference.
Florian and Zach never said Mashinsky did something bad. Kevin O'Leary got up in congressional testimony and said the reason FTX went under is because Binance attacked them. Yeah,
I agree.
That it's not a lie. It's a stupid, ridiculous statement. I mean,
I agree.
It's not a lie like a misstatement of a fact. It's his opinion, but it is propaganda. That's what it is, propaganda to sell a narrative that, look, I think you told me a couple weeks ago that somebody's mom that you knew was like, oh, that poor boy, right? About Sam. I'm like, what do you mean that poor boy? But my point is I absolutely believe that was not rogue Kevin. I believe that was an intentional plan. I don't think anything in these congressional hearings is accidental, right? They invited this idiot professor, I can't even remember her name, who spewed incredible amounts of nonsense, like just factually incorrect data about blockchains and crypto. And I mean, there are plenty of smart people they could have invited in. It is not incompetence. It is intentional obfuscation of the facts to get an outcome, right? The outcome that these people want is the Warren legislation and people hate in China. Those are the outcomes that people want. And if we blame China for this, and we get, I mean, this is akin, right? This is a 9/11, Patriot Act moment. This is a, global financial crisis, Dodd-Frankenstein moment. You're telling me that however many 100-page bill was written in the last 2 weeks? Are you freaking kidding me? No, it wasn't. It's been in the works for months and months. And just like it's not a coincidence that Bitcoin's birthday is in the middle of the global financial crisis,